We are starting soon.
What is up, Album Book Club? Welcome to another album review. This week we are taking a look at Sports Finland by Saimaa. I'm not going to attempt to say any of the Finnish words in this review. I'm going to spare everybody from that. So I have translated everything to the best of what Google Translate can do.
Cool.
All right. You want to get started?
Mm-hmm.
All right. Starting off with our top three, I have track number 5, Record, track number 3, Driving Start, and track number 10, Quick Tip.
I have track number 5, track number 9, and track number 4.
I have track number 9, track number 4, and track number 1.
I have track number 1, track number 10, and track number 4. I'm sorry you guys told me, but I wasn't prepared still. It's my fault.
Haha.
Told us what?
You told me what to have track numbers ready, and I wasn't ready. So.
Oh, it's fine. It's fine. Moving on to our bottom song. I have track 14. This is the one I'm iffy on the translation of. Swamp Carrot and Swim.
Yeah, I have track 12.
I also have track number 14.
I have track 11.
If I get any of these translations wrong, please let me know. We ready to get started?
Yeah?
Yeah.
All right. Track number 1, translating to Golden Eagle. I gave it an 8.5 out of 10.
I gave it a 7.5.
I gave it an 8.
I give this one a 10.
Holy hell,
Nice.
Carl, 10.
Yeah. I wanted to build some anticipation. Sorry. No, this track really just it was all there. This track had a really funky intro. Was really funky all the way through. Killer guitar work. All the instrumental work was killer. And there's a lot of sections that kind of juxtapose each other within the song, which is the kind of thing I really like. Really what happened is you guys finally gave me a jazz album, is really what happened. This is jazz fusion is what this is.
We didn't give you anything. This was
This was some movie.
yeah.
Well, yeah, you guys in the extra dimension, I guess, there.
Well, Carl, I absolutely agree with you. All the instruments here sound great. A lot of the actual composition of the work is really neat. It had a really cool cowboy vibe to it. I know we all talk about cowboy music and loving it. I thought bringing that into this genre was super cool. One of my first notes came while I was listening to this in my car. And it's just, I should be riding home on a horse. You know, this made me feel like I was riding into the battlefield on some kind of animal. It was a really good vibe. I think it was also a great introduction to the sound that we're getting throughout this entire album. It was a little long, at 8 minutes for an intro. Kind of crazy, but it's vibe music, so it doesn't matter.
Yeah, the first thing I have written down is cowboy opening and synth part. Also, the bass tone throughout this album is great because half the time it's also layered with a synth bass, and it's very good. There's a whole synth run that bleeds into the keyboard sound that I usually hate, but they did it so good on here that I don't hate it. It's also the saxophone solo at the end goes extremely
So
hard.
I don't know if this song had it or not, but there's a lot of upright bass on the album too,
Yeah.
which is just awesome.
Yeah, cowboy jazz. It was great. A lot of the guitar work on this entire album is phenomenal, but it does make me wonder how much of it was sampling or how much of it is just in studio work, because it's all very, very clean and very, very good.
I did research. Okay, that's the only reason I made a face at you. I did research because the first thing I thought was, man, they're pulling killer samples. But essentially what I found is that it's one guy that kind of runs the band, and I can't pronounce any of their names, so I didn't write them down. I'm really sorry. But there's one guy that runs the band, and there's a crew of, I guess, like 20 people is what it looked like, that rotates in and out to do all this stuff. So it's just like this giant collective of musicians that work together to get these projects done.
Yeah, actually, Logan, can you grab the jacket? Oh, yeah. Grab the jacket and open that up. There's a whole...
Is there a photo of them all in there? Yeah, because it is absolutely wild.
Oh my gosh.
Yeah.
Evil Pete's. Show that for the camera there.
That's
whole bunch of them.
crazy. That's really cool.
That is bonkers.
What a great group of guys.
Yeah, I was even more impressed once I found out. I mean, there's a lot of manipulation going on in the back end to make it sound like it does, but it's mostly played from what I could tell.
That is a little insane.
Really cool.
Should be fine.
Something is breaking actively
It looks a
behind
little
me.
bit like it's leaning, but it's probably not.
I think that's the shelf.
Those are just sleeves, right?
Hmm?
That's all just sleeves, right?
When the
Yeah,
shelf
sleeves.
falls
On
in
the
like
shelves.
5 minutes.
On the shelf, everything that's just the sleeve, right? There's no vinyl in those.
This one has it actually.
Okay, well, just catch it with your head.
Yeah, that's the plan. That one is empty.
Okay.
That one would not have survived this live. Do we have anything else?
I'm good.
Logan was in the middle of it. I guess he gave up.
shit.
Oh no! I mean, we run into this problem where it's like whoever talks last talks just about the same thing everyone else talked about. The only thing we haven't talked about is pretty much the key to this album, which is all of the old sports clips in it,
Yeah.
and how masterfully they're just interwoven in. And I don't know what any of them are about. Or what they're saying, but you can feel the passion in a sportscaster's voice when you should be sad or happy.
Let's see. I feel like some of them I can tell not what sport it is, but what's happening, kind of, just from energy.
Oh yeah, and the music is right there with it too, in like an almost juxtaposing way, but it's always lifting.
There's one later that I have actually no idea.
Yeah, we'll get to that one.
Well, yeah. What was I going to say? Oh, the mix. The mix is also perfect. In order to make it be able to do that, just be able to play those clips in there, the mix is sculpted incredibly. And I don't think all of them are playing on every track, but there's so many people playing at once still to get all that to fit in the soundscape and sound as clear and concise as it did. Huge compliment.
There went your phone.
Yeah, by phone. It's okay.
Frame of reference: this album sounded good through AirPods.
Yup.
And that is huge.
That's hard to do.
I will say this album kind of sounded shitty in the car, but that's because everything was kind of spread out and thinned out. You know, it was kind of harder to hear, like those finer details, like some of the more delicate pieces were harder to hear in the car. But that's just how much music this is. Like, it kind of deserves to be appreciated.
So the one that it took me a minute, I waited to look it up. I wanted to get through a track because I had no idea when this was made. Like, I knew it was newer, but like it could have been anywhere from the late 80s up until like current.
It's like 2017.
It's 2017, yeah. I
Yeah.
looked it up, but it was just impressive how just kind of overreaching the style felt. The mix was not dated in any way, which, considering the mix of synths and the mix of stuff that's going on, again, it's just incredible.
Yeah, my first guess would have been 90s. Just like that was the feel.
Yeah.
And then to looking, I was like, oh, 2017, that's not surprising either. But it is a very timeless mix, a very timeless sound, I think.
All right. You got anything else? All right. Moving on. Track 2, translated to Olympia Coffees. Probably. I gave it a 7 out of 10.
I gave it an 8.
I give it a 7.5.
I gave this one a 7.
This one had kind of like a opening ceremony type beat going on with the beeps and boops solo.
All right,
in
man.
the middle.
It's Wii music. Come on. That's
Yeah,
Wii
it
Sports on
is.
the dot. That's Coconut Mall. Like, it's some type of Mario Nintendo beat. And it's wonderful. It's
Mhm.
awesome. But it's absolutely, like, it's perfectly just Wii music. I don't know how else to describe it.
That's a good way to put it.
Like the Nintendo. I got it.
Yeah.
Not the Royal.
Yeah.
All of my notes are about this song like sounding like a Mario song.
Yeah, I kind of think that all of my scores are kind of just adjusted based on how much more or less I liked it than the first track.
It's so true.
Dude, you 100% nailed it. 'Cause that's what happened to this
Yeah.
track. It got slower.
Mm-hmm. But yeah, I made it. It's a note I have for the next song, but the next song is about how far I made it in the first listen before I went and bought it.
Yeah.
It did not take much.
I will say the flute in this track does go super hard.
The flute pops back up a good number of times, and it's always
amazing.
great.
My favorite note of, I think this might be my favorite note of the entire one is they did beat boops the right way this time. That's pretty much exactly what I wrote.
Carl likes beat boops, guys.
Only this
Finally.
one time.
We did it.
Yeah. While it was a little slower, there was a lot of energy in the track. The background instruments also all had like a warble for the first 45 seconds, and it was tripping me out, but I loved it. Percussion was very, very fun. Everything about this was just fun. I think all these songs got rated based off of how much I was just like grooving, and they all did very well for that reason. When you don't understand anything going on except like the groove, it's so easy to rate music. There goes your album.
No more bones left for Carson. He's now Jelly Man.
I popped my elbow, guys. What's the fucking issue?
I don't have anything
That's
else.
it.
I was
We
just
have
looking to
anything?
see.
Yeah,
no.
no.
Oh no, this was back with the cowboy thing. That was the note I made here too. I liked the game show cowboy feel. This reminded me of The Price is Right, as did a lot of the album.
We ready to move on?
Yeah.
Track 3, translated to Driving Start. I give it a 9 out of 10.
Gave it a 7.
I gave it a 6.
I gave this one an 8.
Oh, I'm in the minority. Do I have to defend myself here?
Go.
Okay. So at the start of this one, it feels like for some reason it gave me such a huge like arcade vibe. Like it felt like a game or like a casino, you know. And then it just took so long to get to where we were getting to for me that I kind of lost interest in the middle, and I was like, okay, this is kind of background music. But once we get to the end, it's really fucking cool.
Mm-hmm.
I actually kind of had a little note on the side. I was wondering how long, which one you would complain about first, the lack of lyrics or the length of the songs. so this was it.
I said the first one was a little long.
A little long. Okay, so it was the first time. No, I agree with you that this one did feel long, though, even for the style.
It just felt like it took a while to get to the point.
Yeah.
And that's kind of... I think the ending is really, really cool. If you just shorten up the middle a little bit. I think the intro is cool. I think the fact that it drags on for a little bit could also be cool. Like, make it like a minute and a half instead of like 2.5 minutes, I think it is.
Listen, could it have been 2 songs? Probably. Do I care? No. I'm reading back these notes and I don't fully understand. If I didn't hear it, I would not understand how all of these notes went to the same song. They brought the beeps and boops back for the beginning. I don't think this is a positive note, but I did like the song. But the like very intro before anything shows up sounds like a Minecraft YouTuber's intro. Until the strings came back in, and then it went hard again. There's a ton of cool sounds like in the background of this track after the strings come back in. Just sounds going all over the place, and then you hear the crack of a bat, and it turns into breaking news type beat for the whole rest of the song. It's so sick. As soon as that bat hit, I started looking up where to buy it on the first time I listened. I love this song.
I'm with you at the end. The end is really, really cool.
Yeah, but it didn't... I was doing like editing or something the first time I listened to it, and while I was also editing the second time, I was listening more, and I just fully got absorbed by this song. Like the opening of it. What?
Just locked eyes with Logan and gave him the scariest look. That's all. Trying to make sure he's alive over there.
Yeah. I think you guys I disagree with you guys. I don't think this song had a good intro. There was no good hook to it, and so it kind of lost me from there. Keep looking at me. I love it. There was a great
He's
horn
a
section in
nymphomaniac,
this,
people.
except the horns kind of went out of tune, like right on their way out, and it really just made me unsettled. I don't understand why people like to do that, but they do.
So you don't like the killer tape speed effect drop that I wrote?
Presumably.
Yeah, neat. No, I just loved the fact that they took their time to build it up on this one. That's something I can really appreciate. Although I usually get bored, I appreciate it when it finally happens.
I think the like first build up part before like the strings and everything goes on for a little too long of like full emptiness, but after that I'm completely just absorbed by this song.
Yeah, I think I did a bad thing and looked up the genres they said they were before listening to the album. I don't usually do that, but one of the ones they said was symphonic rock, and that makes it make a lot more sense.
Yeah.
It's very much that kind of slow build in the beginning, and the patience is worth it in this one.
All right. Ready to move on?
Yep.
This is track 4, Molly and Velu, maybe? I gave it an 8 out of 10.
Gave it an 8.5.
I gave it an 8.5 as well.
I gave this one a 9.5.
This is the one, was this one upright bass?
This one definitely was. Yeah.
I'm assuming that all the ones that I have bass notes on probably were, because I loved that sound on here. And they did it again. They layered it with the bass synth, and it's so good. They also had a really cool marimba solo. This one just felt like a jam song. Just everybody got a solo the whole time.
Yeah, I will say the solo section was really cool. I like how they showed off so much talent during it, and it was really impressive. I thought this one was a really fun groove, too. Like, it just kept you jamming the whole time. It really just hits all the marks. This is what also came back, the flute.
Mm-hmm.
The flute goes so hard on this one, too. I don't know who that flautist is, but they're fucking awesome.
I wrote that it might actually be like a pan flute at some points. Like they may not be playing it like a. I think this one wasn't one, but there was a couple times that the flute was so manipulated I couldn't tell what it was. But it's killer. My real note is just that the jazz is back. That's all it takes. It's like I just love the ability to trade solos and the ability to play over each other and just kind of the freedom of all of that, and then the creative spaces it takes you to, and they're all really good musicians, and I'll pull it off. And I think it makes less sense as the album goes on how good some of the jazz is, but it also makes more sense. I mean, they're all just creating such an awesome product, and it really shows here.
Yeah, flute went hard as heck. There was a whole lot of energy in this track yet again. Talk about a Price is Right toned song as well. This was the quintessential 70s Price is Right sound, and I loved it. I also wrote quick scales for the win, because that is the best way to a musician's art. There was also a lovely Toto section with the overly 80s synth and great percussion work. It was very fun.
This is the one that I said reminded me a lot of Return to Forever, or with the vibraphone Crystal Silence era Chick Corea even. I mean, it reminded me a lot of late 70s, ECM jazz fusion. Interesting.
All right.
Also, hell yeah, jazz.
Yeah, I was excited. This was a great meeting of the
This
country.
is the funniest, stiffest episode in the world. We're all making it our mission not to fucking laugh.
I'm
Dang
not.
it,
I'm
I
Mr.
didn't mean to
Giggle
say
Shoe.
that word. But yeah, we're just trying not to laugh. Have
I'm
fun,
at 2
guys.
over here, Logan.
So
I was counting.
that's 3 for the episode.
Shoot.
Sorry.
We ready to move on?
Yeah.
Next song, number 5, Record. I gave this a 10 out of 10.
Might as well round up. Give it that 10.
I'll give it an 8.
I also gave this one an 8.
Explain yourself.
That's easy. The strings, the horns, the electric guitar, everything is flowing perfectly. And then out of nowhere, a beach break. They put a beach episode in the song. Why?
I
don't care.
I was kind of confused during the first listen. I was like, I thought this was about skiing. Where are they skiing in Hawaii? Can you ski in Hawaii?
And then
You can
for
water
some,
ski.
and then for some reason they get abducted by aliens at the end. That's great.
Summer Olympics.
Exactly.
That's the thing. This is just sports Finland.
That's true.
I just believe long ski jumpers. I don't know what that sport is. It's probably one that they had a famous gold medalist out of.
You know what? I have a note about the front end of this song. It sounds like an old 2000s movie hacking montage at the beginning. Which I thought was really funny.
I literally called it
that's why the aliens showed up at the end.
Right?
Yeah, I called it the Doctor Who section.
Right?
Yeah.
I really thought it sounded cool all the way throughout. I had no idea what was going on, but it was really cool. And I have a note about the synth stuff at the end. I thought it was really cool. I thought it was really neat.
Yeah. Somebody's saying something that I got no clue what they're saying. The guitar tone is immaculate. It's very 80s. And then, we get this, kind of weird reggae break. And then you get this, Tron break. It's the only way you can describe it. It feels like it's straight out of a video game. It's so great.
I think it's very interesting how we all described it as completely different things that were all right.
I'm telling you, if you read our notes without listening to the album, you have no idea what we listened to.
This next one's really bad for me, guys.
Yeah, me too.
I might have to read mine for the next one,
Yeah.
just word for word. There's 4 references.
I wrote down 4 bullets with no context. So yeah, we're good.
I have 2 notes.
Well,
I have
let-
one.
let's get to it then. This one's great. We're going to move our counter up one more on this episode. Track 6, Germany is a shitty country. I gave it a 7.5 out of 10.
Give it a 6.5.
I also gave it a 6.5.
I gave it a 7, but it's getting an extra 0.5 for the translation.
Let me
Alright.
get this one out of the way.
Okay, my 2 notes. It's kind of short. I'm kind of used to the length of these songs, and this one's randomly only 2 minutes. I had no idea what was going on whatsoever, but it was kind of neat. So 6.5.
You took one of my 4 notes. I wrote that it had timpani that I liked at some point, which is a rare thing to get on an album ever. I really liked that there was also tempo blocks later. I don't know, I was just in a concert percussion mood this song. Also, there was a killer fuzz on the guitar at one point.
I took the short note.
I wrote Jaws intro, Minecraft drinking noise, villain monologue with a synth bass line or a sick bass line, and then somehow the end turned into a song from the Adam West Batman show.
Yep.
Do what you will with that. I also fully believe that this is translated 100% right. This one, I think Google Translate got this one.
Yeah. Or they have a vendetta.
Could be. We got anything else?
Don't think so.
No?
All right. Next up, track 7, translated to King. I gave it a 6.5.
Give this one an 8.
I also gave this one an 8.
I give this one a 9.
I can get this out of the way. Thumbs up plus.
Really, I thought this one was really cinematic. I thought you would have liked it.
I think I was here for the chaos of the rest of the album,
Oh, okay.
and this didn't have it as much.
Yeah, I mean, I felt like this one was just cowboys and synths. You know, you mashed them together. It was really cool. It feels a lot like a movie intro. It feels very cinematic. I'm stealing more of your notes.
Did we listen to a different song?
No, I mean, Carl has it over
you
here
guys
too.
just wrote down different parts of the song than
No.
I did.
It's near the end.
So there's cowboy time, and then it has this symphonic build at the end.
It's really neat.
The beginning is it's like an 80s movie intro. And
I
then
stole that
with
note,
with pan flute going on, and then it has this really cool cut before this huge melody point.
Wait, read that. Read my third note down.
Yeah, Carson and I listened to the same song. I think you just didn't listen to it.
I think I'm just gonna go bar for bar on this one, and maybe you'll see where my brain went instead of your all's. Hell yeah, NES and Goosebumps noises. I don't get this one bit, but I'm here for Jumanji. This song was conceived in the brain of Uncle Grandpa or Danny Trejo. What a nice clean spot to change the vinyl. It had a very nice ending, a very nice cut ending. I'm like, that is for sure when the end of like the second side of the disc is and you go grab the other
We
one.
can check it later. Make sure that's right.
Turns
Also,
out-
I think
turns
I'm
out
gonna
it's
have
really
to.
wrong.
I think I'm gonna have to listen to about 5 minutes of this episode for the Monday Wednesday reel.
I mean, we got all the notes though. We
Yeah.
nailed it.
If we don't have anything else, we'll move on to track 8. Wait a minute. I give it a 7.5.
Give it a 7.5.
That wasn't a pun, I swear to God.
There's your Monday, Wednesday.
I also gave it a 7.5.
I gave it an 8.
Dweeb.
I know.
What
I
a
liked it.
nerd.
I liked it slightly too much. I'm so sorry.
This one's chill. I think it belongs in like a beach playlist. I like the like marimba percussion instrument they got there, like a little solo there. I thought it was awesome. It's actually a really nice break from the chaos we've been getting.
I put, wow, we sad now? Never mind, we're not. They brought it back. And also, very chill saxophone, or not saxophone, xylophone solo is cool. I don't
that
know
what
if
it
that
was?
was... I
think it was a marimba, but
I thought the marimba was earlier, and this one sounded different. So
No, it was
that's
a-
why I made that call.
it was
Or
a vibraphone earlier because it had the metal
That's
bars.
right.
Yep.
I
Yeah,
forget.
I thought it was a
forget those-
marimba.
So xylophone's just a marimba higher up with hard mallets, so it's got a brighter
Mm.
attack, but the same sort of wooden body. Then a vibraphone's the aluminum bars, so they ring forever.
When I was doing this review, I forgot that the vibraphone existed.
Yeah. There was some weird half out-of-tune instruments. That went away really fast. I wrote marimba in all caps, and I pictured that as Kendrick yelling mustard. Do with that as you will.
Logan, I think we have to hear it.
No. The flute section was great. I did say this is just amazing elevator music, though, because it
Mhm.
really turned into like
Yeah.
a bossa nova at one point.
If you played this on a beach, everybody's chilling. It'll be great.
Dude, I was actually just thinking, like, while I was listening to this, I was like, somehow this goes with Takanaka, and I don't understand. Like, and I realized,
there's-
Oh, that's a good playlist.
There's one later that sounds like it's straight off a Cassiopeia album.
right, and
For
and
real.
and so that's what I was gonna say. I realized about halfway through this that I've actually heard 2 or 3 of the tracks off this album, from listening to things like that, listening to Takanaka and Cassiopeia and other just jazz fusion. That's
I've
in
heard
that.
this album in this house.
Yeah.
Also, let's be real. If you play music like this on a beach, someone's going to throw a football at whatever you're playing it with and call you a nerd.
Nah.
Not this song.
No,
but
no.
if you accidentally skip to any other song in the album, you might get hit.
This is like specifically beach music.
None of you guys none of you guys mentioned the sultry electric piano at the beginning. It was very nice. But no, I agree. I think this song is nerd music. I'm sorry.
I mean, I
I like it, but I'm not going to sit here and say I can play it on a beach.
I didn't mention it, but I think my note about it being sad might have been about that.
Yeah, I didn't look hard enough to figure or listen hard enough to figure out which one it was. I used to be good enough to be able to tell you basically. It was probably a Rhodes.
Probably.
It's a deep cut needle note.
Yep.
Good.
Could have been an 808 too.
Fuck.
All right, we ready to move on?
Yeah.
That's 4.
Yeah. I'm trying to get that total up.
We have one left, guys.
All right, this is one I didn't have to translate. Track 9, Monaco Grand Prix.
Well,
I
it's
gave,
half in French. You could translate that.
don't worry about it. I gave it an 8.
I give it an 8.75.
I gave it an 8.5.
I give it a 9.
Sorry.
You know what? I agree with Carl. I'll give it a 9 too.
Yes.
Listen, with the name of this song, I thought we were going back to Mario Kart music, and I was right. It was awesome. It feels like a perfect, like, I don't know why. It feels like the perfect driving vibe for me. Maybe it's just how I drive, but it's really just the whole vibe of the song. I like how everything melds together. All the sounds that we're getting feel really nice. And like going, like how it's going in the album, like pacing wise, how the last song kind of broke us out of the chaos that we were getting. This song kind of eases us back into it. Like they have some stripped back parts, but there are parts where they start adding in more and it builds and it's really nice.
Yeah, this song was just a throwback for me. Like, story time. I only play racing sims for the most part, and all the good ones are Japanese. And this again just reminded me of the music that they pick for those games, like Gran Turismo or the earlier Sega GTs. You know, like the early ones just had menu music that was very similar to some of this stuff, or the race music was very similar to this stuff. They would do stuff like this and then mix in some classical pieces even sometimes. And it was just such a nostalgia rush. Plus the fact that all the musicians were killing it. The muted trumpet is awesome. The bass is awesome. It's just a jam the whole time. I mean, the whole thing was just a package.
I said this would be a perfect song to drift to. You know,
Yeah.
You want to get in a cart, you want to go 90 miles an hour. That's all you want to do.
Yeah, this song had a ton of energy. It was a ton of fun. I love the horns. My only slight complaint, I think this song is a little bit long. And it's the only time I'm going to say that on this entire album. This one goes on a little longer than I think I would have liked.
Yeah. Somehow no one has mentioned that there was a record scratch in the intro, and that went hard. The flute was also going bonkers. I wrote really short notes because I wanted to dance to this song so much. I did simply write down that I loved it. That just feels like a compliment in
It's a
itself.
really good song, man. It's a really good groove.
It is, and Carl, you're spot on with this being like those old racing games.
Mhm.
This fits in the Tokyo Drift soundtrack.
Dude,
Mhm.
I might plug my Xbox back in and put in Sega GT 2002.
I think I have a copy of Gran Turismo chilling in my...
Dude, VSpec won't run on my emulator. I'm so mad. I can't get Gran Turismo 4 to run on my computer. I mean, I didn't steal Gran Turismo 4 or anything, but I can't get it to run on my computer.
Hey, could you?
Yeah, we'll talk about it later. All right.
Yeah, of course you don't have it. You
Hey,
can't play it.
Hey,
Legal
Carl-
advocacy says we
Carl,
stop this conversation
could
now.
you tell me what the third letter in your name is?
What?
Ara? Because I'm a pirate?
You got it.
It's fine, man. They're coming after me for other things.
Yeah, the lizard government's after Carl.
That's right, we know.
We need your money now.
Speaking of, we got new merch.
We do have
Actually,
new
I haven't dropped it yet. I can go do that right after this live, though.
Sorry, I just imagine you walk into a room and you just pick up the merch and throw it on the floor.
I would,
where
if
they
I
order
had
it from.
thought that this is how it was going to come up, I would have brought your zip up and done that.
Yeah, I
but
didn't think about it.
Yeah,
Sorry.
we got
the zips we invented a couple of weeks ago. They exist now.
Yeah, we can explain why. My head's too big to fit through a hoodie, so I have to have zips. That's why.
got zips, we got hats, we got hoodies, we got shirts, we got mugs. Album Mug Club.
We got a mouse pad coming soon. That's next week's drop.
Yeah.
I think.
Woo!
All right, we ready to move on?
Yep.
Ad read complete. Track 10. Oh,
Jesus, Carl.
Oh god, why did I laugh like that?
all right,
You
track
laugh like me.
track 10. Quick tip, I gave 8.5.
Give this one a 7.
I also gave this one a 7.
It was a 10.
Valid.
It was a 10.
Oh, okay, so I don't think I was on this train. For me, it was a really good groove until about like a minute and a half in. The hard stop gave me a little bit of whiplash. I wasn't sure what he was whispering in my ear, but I didn't really like it. And then it just throws you right back into the groove. And I thought the parts where the music was actually going on, I thought it was awesome. But the weird like minute and a half break we get kind of took me out of it. Still thought it was pretty good.
This just had some of the most disgusting guitar I've heard in a long time. And by that I mean just like awesome. Disgusting, but the good way. There was so much bass nonsense that I almost got lost in where I was at points. This had to be the upright because he was sliding up and down all over the place on this one. It was just nuts. He was showing off so much. The song was fast. And then they all took turns trading solos on different instruments. I mean, it's just a fusion tune. It happened again.
The song was ripped straight from either the Mario Kart soundtrack or Cassiopeia. This was great.
Yeah, I think I'm realizing that I've heard this song before. 'Cause I definitely wrote down how familiar it sounded. I've probably just in random hearings through the old YouTube work playlist have
Or
heard
it
it.
sounds like it's off of half of the Mario Kart tracks.
I don't ever listen to the Mario Kart soundtrack.
Rip.
No.
Well, you gotta listen while you're racing.
I hardly play the game. Either way, my biggest problem was all the super nutty stuff didn't happen until I was already halfway checked out of the track, just because of how like it was all solid up front, but not as good as the rest of it. It just got way too nutty, way too late.
It was that hard stop, right? Like that hard, like weird cut off, and then he talks to you, and it just doesn't pick up until way later.
I figured we would find the jazz divisions in the couch. That has happened tonight.
Hey, we both still love jazz.
No, it's not a problem. I just think it's funny.
All right. We ready?
Mm-hmm.
Next track. Number 11, 100% performance.
Is that what that means? Is that why they're screaming it at the top
Yep.
of their lungs?
Gave the song an 8 out of 10.
Give this song an 8 out of 10.
I gave this song. Oh, sorry. Wow, I broke it. I'm sorry. Oh my
Holy
god,
fuck.
dude. No, you
It's
go.
5.
I'm sorry.
It went to the break moment. I gave this song an 8 out of 10.
I gave this a 7. Wow. I'm sorry. I was so excited.
Okay. I already talked about it. I jumped the gun a little bit. That chorus, man. They're just shouting that with the energy of 1,000 souls. It invigorates
100%
me every single
performance.
time I hear it. It's awesome. The rest of the song just kind of sounds like jazz rock, maybe? I don't really know. It's sick. I thought the background track was super cool. Yeah, it's mainly the chorus that gets me on this one. I think the vocals are done really well here.
Yeah, this is the first track with like full vocals on it. I don't know if it's a sample or if it sounded like it was for this song, but I'm not sure. I have a huge issue with this song though. It is not long enough. And they do one thing in here that if it was a short song it would have been fine if they didn't do this. But for about 20 seconds everybody played and they showed all the things they could have done if they had an extra minute or two on this. And they just didn't. They were like, let's put it all right here and then move on like it didn't happen. I want like a full... I think this one was only like 2 minutes, maybe 3, but throw an extra minute or 2 on there and go nuts. They showed us that they would have done it.
Yeah, I didn't understand anything said in this song, but it all went very hard. End of notes.
I got kind of angry when I had to spell the title, and that's not anyone's fault. Wow, that's a long word.
It's not that bad.
I mean,
I typed it out with autocorrect, trying to mess me up every 3 seconds.
but what gained it a couple points back was it had this ending that sounded like it went off with a whip, which reminded me of Johnny Test, so that made things better.
How many whip cracks can we add in the podcast?
Guess I gotta download a whip crack for the Monday Wednesday reel.
Every single time you cut to a new clip, just add a whip crack.
I think nobody will watch it.
I think the contrary.
Indiana Jones would.
Put out two versions of the reel and see which one does
No.
better.
The
they're
whip
they're
crack
both gonna
would.
get 6 views.
Yeah, we're just dividing, not conquering in that case.
Divide and be conquered.
All right, are we ready to move on?
Yeah.
Hey, yo.
I was just gonna ignore it. Let's move on.
All right. Track 12, Mary Lisa. I gave this a 7 out of 10.
I give this one a 6.
I also gave this one a 6. Logan, stop stealing my scores. I
I
feel like
gave this-
we've matched for a while now.
I give this one an 8. Yeah, no, you two have been on the same page all night.
Like, for a while.
Look, there's a lady breathing in my ear, or someone breathing in my ear for like half of this song, or there was an instrument that was turned down to a very low rate that the AirPod could not pick up what it was, so it registered as breathing in my ear, and I was very unsettled the entire time. The regular instruments went great. The breathing in my ear did not go good.
I actually had a different problem with the song. For me, it was the lack of energy here. Like, it was a nice chilled down groove, but I really miss how energetic and fun some of the previous tracks were. I wanted a little bit more of it. Since we're not exactly to the last 3 songs, But it seems like they started the wind down here.
I really liked the vibrato on the keyboard. I think that's what it was.
Probably.
Just very interesting textures they were painting in this one. It gets weird here for a little bit, but they always paint such interesting pictures.
Would this be considered like soundscape music a little bit?
It's very much it's very textural. A lot of the bands I like, they call themselves cinematic, and I always think of that as like you're trying to almost like conjure up images in people's heads when they're hearing, and this whole album has done that. But this was one of the ones that it kind of reminded me of like a slower, like rainy day or something, or like longing or something, which is what I think the song was about.
I kind of had that. The picture it painted in my head was the end of a James Bond movie where the villain's wife is still out there and sending a message to James Bond, but he's driving off into the sunset, some convertible. But yeah, we're back to a chill song. This one probably in my listening experience probably could have been the last track, and I would have been very happy. This kind of sounded to me like a send-off.
Yeah, it definitely sounds like we're getting there.
Unfortunately, there's 3 more tracks left.
Yeah.
Not that any of them are bad, but we ready?
Yeah.
All right. Track 13, Flying Fin. Gave it a 6.5.
Gave it an 8.
Gave it a 6.
I gave it an 8.
Yeah.
We flipped the couch.
Holy finger picking good, man. Let's go. This is country music the right way. 'Cause you can't understand any of the words, but you can understand all the amazing musicianship that just went on in this track. It's all very lovely.
Something hit me here, like a semi-truck, and it was the fatigue. Oh, good Lord, the fatigue hit me here. I realized that the lack of lyrics has really been helping with fatigue and how I've been feeling throughout this listening. And this is kind of where I realized how long the album itself was. I don't listen to a whole lot of, nearly 80-minute albums. For this song, the fatigue set in. I'm like kind of detracting from it a little bit. It's kind of slower, but the lyrics also felt kind of stagnant for me. Like, I felt like they didn't go many places. So I was kind of lost.
Did anyone look up if this was a story, if it told a story, if it was supposed to?
It really feels like it.
Because, I we'll talk about that when we get to pacing, but, like, it really felt like this was the point where I was like, oh, it's telling a story. This is like the rebuilding or the something, the heartfelt moment or the memory of home or something. There's something about this and then the last track and then, pretty much to the end of the album.
This is the Sweet Home Alabama is what you're saying.
I guess. I don't know. Maybe it's the Home Sweet Home by Motley Crue.
Home Sweet Home.
Yeah, I think my biggest note is I have no idea what genre this song is. Like, I couldn't place
Cowboy jazz.
8 of them.
I put folkternative, but that makes people angry, so probably not.
Whatever Cowboy Bebop is.
Also, it had banjo. No one gave it extra points for banjo. It had banjo with a ton of delay on. It was actually kind of cool. Space banjo might be my new.
My ears already hurt. Banjo with delay hurt them more.
Yeah, this one was kind of just, I liked the other ones better. There's nothing really wrong with this song, but
Yeah.
I appreciate the breather without it slowing down. I think that's what it was as far as the whole track.
Are we ready to move on
I believe
to
so.
the one that I'm like certain is wrong? Track 14, Swamp, Carrot, and Swim. Something is definitely, Google messed this up somewhere. I give it a 5 out of 10.
Give it a 6.5.
I gave it a 4.
I give this one an 8.5.
How?
I don't understand, dude. I have plenty of vinyl of Tibetan monk chanting. Dude, this was where.
Of course you do.
This is where it was at.
Of course you do. I so wish I didn't use that 5th one earlier because I so wanted to use it
we
right
almost
now.
had 6 right now.
Is this
Carson,
word fun?
Yeah.
When this song started, I thought it was some kind of weird like ascension chant. Like I felt like people were around me. I'm like raising up in the blood circle. You know, I'm ascending and becoming something more than human. It just sounds like a cool ritual chant. I'm not into it.
No, it's something that like if I've had like a really really stressful day, if I put that on in headphones and like let myself veg out, it's kind of like the less angry version of doom metal for me. It just like helps me breathe. It's really weird.
This song ass, brother.
I mean, I'm just talking about like Tibetan chants in general. I think I like them so much that it made up for the song. I don't know. The energy was there. Maybe that was it.
Yeah, my big note is this song is cool and all, but I never see myself in my entire life turning this on again without like the context of the album. If the record's on, I'm gonna listen to it. If it's not, I don't see a world in which this shows. Like I almost wrote no answer for the score.
My only note just says this guy's metal as hell.
That's only because of Cookie Monster, and you know it.
I mean, he'd fit right in. If he wants to go be like a black metal, doom metal vocalist, he could do it.
Do you think they do that because they like hate their dads?
No, I think they just do it to do it.
Just seeing if you would laugh.
See, he laughed at that.
Yeah, no, there was also a lot of like aliens in this one, and I think I just vibe out when there's like space sounds. I don't know.
There was alien
It's
sounds.
very
in this one.
ethereal.
I was in for it today.
I was not.
All right. Ready to get to the last track?
Yeah.
Track 15, translating to Silver. Gave it a 6.5.
Give it a 7.
Gave it a 6.
I give it a 9.
So, this is a cool ending. I didn't have too much really written down, just kind of a chill ending. But if we're talking about it being like a story and knowing the theme is like a sports thing, I wonder if they didn't win. They got the silver medal.
I mean, that would make sense why the song's kind of like laid back and
Yeah.
like hopeful, but kind of melancholy.
Mine's easy. It just, at this point, I was like, holy shit, it's the end of the album.
We almost killed Carson today. I almost died last week. We almost killed Carson today.
Who's next?
I don't know who's next.
Me
Nick-
again.
I don't know. We'll get to it.
Yeah.
It'll be one of us.
But yeah, this was it was just a basic, not basic, nothing about this album's basic. A more basic than you've heard beat. Because it's supposed to be soothing. And I think a lot of albums like this, they just go balls to the walls insane. They kind of have to bring you back to reality at some point and remind you that you can't do everything if you just think about it in 3 seconds. And that things take time. And that's what this song did to me. It made me remember I'm at work. I have a job to do. I'm not in space.
Bro, you all missed it. This is the end credits. This is the end credit theme that plays as the credits are rolling to the movie in my head. No, but the cello was killer. It was such a cool beat. I was like, man, beat good. Need more drum. Beat good. No, I really just enjoyed that coming in, and then when the cello came in, I was like, ooh, that was not what I expected.
Actually, now that you're talking about this being a movie in your head, this is my favorite sports movie, I think.
Oh. You think it beats Happy Gilmore?
Yeah, I think it does.
Oh man, it's my favorite movie about an alligator.
Yeah, that's
I
not
can
even a
beat
sports
one
movie.
of I could kick one of those.
No, you
behinds.
can't.
Yeah,
no,
I can.
you can't.
All you have to do to beat an alligator is jump on its back and wrap its mouth
We're
up
not
with tape.
having this discussion.
I have
On
taped my
next
back
album,
pocket.
Yapcast.
If you want that on Patreon, we will record it.
Animals we think we can take in a
I
fight.
thought
Me,
we were
a
gonna go find an
kangaroo.
alligator. I was gonna fight. I would actually fight an alligator and put it on camera.
Okay, but we're not going to like the places that are doing this safely and freezing the alligator beforehand. We're finding a wild alligator.
Okay, I got it.
All right, we're going to South Florida. Any street.
What other sports movies are there? That's what I was just trying to think. Oh, dude, The Mighty Ducks. This.
Field of Dreams,
Oh yeah, dude, build it and they will come.
The Sandlot,
The what?
Cool Runnings. Oh, I was gonna say
No.
Cool Runnings. That
Dude.
movie's great.
Cool Runnings might actually be my favorite Olympic movie. I don't know if this would take Cool Runnings. I don't know. This is pretty close
What
though.
about I, Tonya? It's that movie about the Tanya Harding incident, where she had somebody break her opponent's kneecaps, or something like that.
Oh, I was thinking of Major League. That's another good one.
Oh, with
That's a good
Madonna.
one.
Dude. Wow. we
Little
suck.
Big League is a fun one if you've ever seen that. Little Giants is also a fun one. These are all young sports movies. Kingpin, if you're into bowling.
Yes.
Big
Kingpin.
Lebowski is 100% a sports movie. You can't change my mind.
I mean, yeah, it's a bowling movie. Stuff just happens around it. Dude, there's like a billion awesome baseball movies, and I can't remember any of the name of them.
Major. Oh yeah.
Sandlot.
The Replacements is a good football movie.
That's a phenomenal one with Keanu Reeves.
Yeah.
We're so losing the plot, but it's
Yep.
great because we have time to fill.
No, this is a great thing.
This is the plot.
Oh, dude, Alex said Rudy. We forgot Rudy.
Rudy sucks. Trouble with the Curve. Why didn't you say that one? Because it sucks just as much as Rudy.
Oh, dude, there's Basketball. That might be my favorite sports movie.
That doesn't feel like a legal pick.
What about Dodgeball? Is Dodgeball a legal pick? Was on ESPN 8 The Ocho.
Dodgeball might beat this. That might be the winner.
I know what we're watching after this.
The insides of our eyelids. We got somewhere to be tomorrow.
Facts.
That's true.
All right, let's go to pacing.
Ominous foreshadowing.
Now that we filled the time properly.
So Alex said, "Remember the Titans," and then he sent us ... because he was angry.
Remember the Titans is a good movie.
All right,
You ready for pacing?
I am now. Yes.
Despite my beef with the last couple songs, I gave it an 8 out of 10 for pacing.
I gave it a 7.
I gave it an 8.
I also gave it an 8.
I'll defend this, I guess.
I-
I think it's my biggest issue was the long song, short song format. Because in reality, it was like 5-6 minute long song with a 2-minute song tacked into that song, into a full 7-minute song, into a 2-minute song. So it was just a weird way it was laid out. And then you have like hard cuts on some songs where it's meant for like a vinyl switch or something. It just kind of threw me off a little.
Sorry,
The length of it,
Alex is super mad at you. Sorry.
the length of it didn't matter. It was just the weird juxtaposition of it.
For me, I agree with Connor here. I think it really is the ending for me where it kind of loses the 2 points. I think it kind of falls flat at the end. I didn't like the songs as much. And I think it's just I think it's just that I had so much fun with the front half of this album that I was kind of sad to see it get a sad ending. You know?
Mm-hmm.
That's life.
I know, but like, not all the time.
I just didn't get the story. I think but no, they're just clips. Like even if the songs made sense to me, even if I looked up the lyrics, I don't think it would be a coherent thematic thing.
Yeah.
You know, we always talk about our one album that got a 10 ever, but you know, that was a thematic thing, and this got close to that for me. I just don't know that it all made sense the same way.
I feel like this is going to get real pretentious, but I feel like it's almost the idea of a story and not an actual story. If that makes any sense at all.
I took this as like a showcase of musicianship and the decades of Finnish sports. Because there's very clear sections of this that are like 70s, 80s, 90s. Just in the way the audio is sculpted.
It feels like a piece dedicated to something else.
It feels like a piece dedicated to Finnish sports.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Also, I said this like for the podcast, but I have no idea what sports clip Nosferatu in track 14 is from. What is he talking about?
Bouncing on it crazy style.
Yeah, what does that have to do with
Bounce
sports?
on-
He's giving a villain monologue.
would-
What is this about?
I need this guy in my studio right now.
I'm not saying we don't. I want to know what relevance that has to Finnish sports.
I bet if we had a translation, it's probably like talking about like some big tragedy in Finnish sports, and we're just like, what's this metal guy saying? Sounds like Nosferatu is like Tragically, 38 people passed away.
And I was interested to see how we all thought the album did for this, because this wasn't one that we could just look up. Because usually we'll listen to like 2 or 3 tracks and get the vibe, and then we'll start doing research. At least that's what I do. So, sorry, I didn't mean that as pretentious as it sounded. But no, I wasn't able to find info on this just because I didn't have a ton of time, but it wasn't easy to find.
We're also not the right market.
Yeah. Well, I don't.
I bet
no.
I just mean like to be able to read that stuff. I bet if you throw up a VPN and you can go find a finished blog post about this anywhere that we just don't have access to because we're not on those kind of websites.
Yeah, you just got to find the Google for the area and start translating it all the time. It's not hard to do. It's just it's there's not enough of it where they're set up to be distributed here. Correct. You know, it's the same thing we talked about with how we had to, or Connor had to get the album from overseas, and how I was going to have to do the same when I eventually get a copy. Is that like there's just nowhere that even distributes it into the U.S.
Shout out to whoever shipped that, because it got here in 3 days, and it was supposed
Holy
to be
hell.
It was supposed to be 2 days, and then it got like held somewhere. Goated shipping, making
3 days
Amazon
from
look like a chump.
overseas is bonkers.
Yeah, that is
Like,
crazy.
3 days from this guy's house in Finland to here. Actually insane.
That is crazy.
I need a reference horn. You need to talk to Katz about that, because he orders stuff from like Japan and stuff all the time.
Mm-hmm.
About some of the ordering internationally.
Like I've ordered some stuff from Australia, and it takes like 2 months to get here. It'll just sit in customs for that long. Finland, they don't care. Send it straight through.
Weird.
I had a Dead Pony record that I had to wait like 3 weeks on. And
That was because it was a pre-order.
Well, yeah, but then when I got the replacement, I had to wait 2 days for it, and the
Mhm.
replacement was there. So I think it's just they sometimes care and they sometimes don't.
So I think it was UPS, which is wild, because UPS usually sucks. Or nah, it was DHL. Which usually really sucks. All right, we ready to move on to album art?
Yeah,
I gave the album art a 9 out of 10.
I gave it 10.
I gave it a 10.
I also gave it a 10.
Connor.
All right, I'll give it a 10.
Look at it.
It's good.
It's awesome.
It's instantly iconic,
Mhm.
and that's something that's hard to say anymore. Like, this has been burned into my mind since the second I saw it.
Yep.
To the point where I couldn't tell you maybe what the album's called, but I can describe this beat for beat, and someone, if they know the album, will figure it
when
out.
you see that, you know exactly what it is, and I think the reference on the inside of it is really cool too, especially with like the cinematic feel of this. How we're kind of picking up on a story that's not really there, but you know it feels like a story.
Yeah, I just wrote it's exactly those 2 words.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But really, the other thing is, this is something that I would have bought if I found it probably in the used bin. Maybe not the new section because I'm a cheapskate, but I definitely would have bought this if I saw it, just because the picture is so freaking interesting. Like, I have no idea what the record's going to be, but now that I heard it, it makes perfect sense.
Oh yeah,
And also, it probably would have been in the jazz section, so I would have found it.
That's fair. I
alrighty.
think we've touched on it a little bit, but music overall, I gave it 8.75 out of 10.
Gave it an 8.5.
I also gave it an 8.5.
I give it a 9.
I debated bumping it up to a 9.
Yeah, my one note, super simple. I just wanted more drums. If there was drums on this whole album, this would have been a 10.
For me, it was really only a little bit of the pacing stuff in the ending there. You know, that's the only part of the album where I really got lost. And I think if it had more of the energy all the way throughout, I would have liked it more. But also, it is a lot of music. It's a pretty long album.
Yeah, I think I almost don't count the last 3 songs against it because I knew it had to do that at some point. So I think I get it, I guess, and I didn't let it affect that score. I love this album. I put it on like for background music of editing, like the day after we did the interview, and by track 3, it was on the way to the house.
Yeah, I love this album. It was great. There are just a few songs that, kind of failed to get my attention or to keep it the whole way through. And it's just because, well, I've heard this a lot, a good few times. And it's just, I get excited for what's after it. instead of what's on now. Or like I'm like, okay, well this song's a little slow right now, and I know this next song has a really good like build section, and just I found myself just getting more excited for what was coming instead of what was playing at some points.
All right. We got anything else before we reveal next week's album?
No. Sorry. I had to think really hard.
If you listen to a headphone, smoke will start coming out.
Yeah, that burned whatever cells were left in there, boys.
All right. Next week, we are listening to Chasing Danger by Captain Blackbeard, suggested to us by our, at this point, semi-anonymous YouTube viewer. This came out April 4th, so however many weeks ago that was. Last week. I believe it is
sick album art.
It's like a stadium metal, I think.
Probably big area.
There's like 4 different genres that I could probably say and still be right.
Nice.
So yeah, that'll be for next week.
Bye bye.
See ya.